2 weeks to go on the CRS Sim Racing Championship powered by Garage ID. And it's getting close to the line. One of our greatest drivers missing last week has opened up the championship, and we are going to be at quite the close quarters venue here at Oschersleben. I'm Howie Burrows alongside DLB TV, returning back to the booth after my 1 week holiday from the league. DLB, you love this league, you love this place. I'm sure there's nothing I could properly tee you in with to match your energy.
It's Motorsport Arena time, and we're coming into this one with a tie for the championship lead. We got Jack Williams tied up with Luke Mann with 95 points apiece. Third in the standings is Jack Freeman. The show is on. It's going to be a heck of a race. 45 minutes on the clock. We've been waiting all week for this one, and we can now see the finish line of the season. 2 races to go officially. The championship battle is on. It's time to put on a show. And how about this track? Tell me a little bit about it, because this is a fun one to have on the schedule.
Oschersleben usually raced in the NASCAR Euro Series, you might know it for, and also on the iRacing 3 schedules, as is the rest of this. We're running quite the unique layout. This track I consider close quarters, almost like a street circuit about the walls on a normal day, but we've chopped off the entire top half, stuck a tricky hairpin into it. It's going to be very hard to line up a pass here. A lot of the best overtaking spots on the track are gone. You're going to have to force it through on the terrifying turn 1. I'd love to see if we can sort of get a view of a car entering this first turn. It's one of the scariest on the schedule. You have to fling it in left, not touch the bump, and then get it slowed down for a harsh right. Oh, it's going to be tricky getting the field through there.
I just love these on-board cameras. So we got a car cutting through the grass there in front of them. And it's just the show we're going to have here tonight. Just so many storylines going in, so much going into it. All these races every week, the 2 big things have been survival, which we have gotten some very clean races. Last week was a great example of that. But not only survival, having enough fuel to get to the end and making sure you make your pit stop at the right time if you need to. If you're saving fuel, you might want to start pretty early, but I don't think these drivers are going to be able to stretch it. But only time will tell. It's going to be a heck of a show here tonight. You're probably going to notice Peter Saddington on track there in the Bitcoin machine. Good to see him back, as his luck has been a little up and down this season. It seems like he has been picking off them top 20 finishes, but overall, I'm just excited. I'm excited for what we have on the table for us. I'm excited for what we have coming up. I'm excited for the storylines. Let's roll off the starting the grid.
Thomas Bellman comes back to the league in order to try and show that he's still got it. No drop weeks has dropped him down 3 places, but he wants to imprint his mark and get another pole and another win straight to the end. It's Dallas Bradis right next to him, common rival on the standings, and Brendan Pezola in P3 next to Luke Mann. On the 3rd row, it's Lincoln Voigt next to Arjun Talwar, and Donnie Moffitt next to Nicholas Konstantinos. Jake Rodriguez is next to Caden Pado. We're going to have a few fewer than 40 drivers this time around, thankfully, because this track is tight as he gets. Matthew Bodgering is next to Cameron McLean. And Jack Freeman lines up next to Jack Williams. 2 Jacks there on that row. Row 8, it's Logan Wilson and Hector Arredondo. I think I got that one wrong. I'm trying. That's Arredondo. That's Arredondo. Okay, Wyatt Roberts is 17th next to Korean Van. Korean Van Innenman is one that always catches me out. Certainly they're trying to catch me out. Noel Deans in 19th next to Thomas Ashby in 20th. We have Aiden Springer next to Jesus Tunon. Love the helmet on that car. Jonah Bryan is next to Arba McCullough Nato. Zachary Deppers next to Carlos Nieves. David Wilson lines up next to Samuel Caldwell. Row 15, it's Dustin Bullock and Peter Saddington. Still more cars. It's Alan Rufus in 31.
Oh, about it. I think the big storyline here is that Thomas Bellman He's coming in 15 points behind. That's 15 positions he's going to have to gain on his competitors over the next 2 weeks. We know he's probably going to be the dominating car, but even if he shows up and leads every lap and wins both them races, there's a good chance it may just not be enough. He currently has 2 wins this season to his name, but missing 1 week definitely killed him in the points, as we got Peter Saddington up and over there at the end of warm-ups. Well, we're about to be hitting the grid here, and very soon, taking the green flag. It's going to be Cornish going into turn number 1, and this is where Thomas Bellman just needs to make sure that he gets through there and checks out.
Let's save the wrecking for the practice. I don't want to see any upside down cars on this track. It's pretty hard to go upside down as it is. It's a very busy grid. 31's just going to make it around the back of that last turn, and that turn 1 is very treacherous. It's one thing being a fast turn or a slow turn into turn 1. What about a fast turn into a slow turn on the middle of the apex? The car does have ABS, so you can't lock up entering it, but still you can overcook the brakes, you can miss your marker, and you can go bowling on the grid. Not really something we want to see. Just a few cars left to line up. Do you think Thomas Bellman could pull off his lead back again and possibly the championship with 2 good races here?
I think the championship may be out the window. I think he's going to need a lot of luck, but I think he may go 4 for 5 this season. And here we go. It appears we are about to put the show on the road from Motorsport Arena. Just waiting for the lights to show up here. And we are green flag racing from Motorsport Arena. Thomas Bellman sends it into turn number 1.
Thomas Ashby with a black flag from jumping the start. I'm very scared to see how we're going to quite get through this single file for most of the field. I think we're just about actually getting away with this one. Here comes every car fanning through. Lots of gravel left from the practice sessions there on the outside. I think every car has managed to make it through out of the grass. It's single file up front. No one's been able to make any bold moves. And we're going to slowly start to see here where the track does its change from the usual layout. We do a big U-turn here. Might be a passing zone on its own, but it's very, very tight. The next chicane, it's very hard to overtake on. That's a car around. Try not to back up the whole field. 33 and 720. Oh no! Oh, it's a catastrophe.
Moffitt, last week's winner, is wrecked out already on just the first lap. Nobody's seen this coming. Let's break it down right here. Here we go, as they're coming through. Oh, Moffitt tried to make the pass. Wasn't clear. They stacked in 2, 3, 4, 5 cars. Parked, many more trying to avoid. Few more stacking in. Not the way you wanted to start the day here from Motorsport Arena. This is letting Thomas Bellman sneak away up front, as a lot of his fastest competitors have now been eliminated on just the first lap. You gotta watch your incident points, and we're seeing a lot of them that may be already done and out with 43 minutes remaining. We gotta fight for the lead up front. Brightus is running down Thomas Bellman. He's to his rear bumper. Last week, Brightus had the race-winning car. Ended up wrecking out early, taking the win from himself. He wants some redemption as he's running in the 2nd position.
You have a car caught in that. The first car that was spun, I believe that was Arjun Talwar's car. Meatballs with Jesus Tunon and Carlos Nieves. That's pretty brutal. Neither of them were the original cars involved in the crash. They've got mandatory repairs, and there's no fast repair here. Easy to catch too much gravel on the exit of that turn, as we saw there. Checking the incident point rules. You're only going to get a penalty at 28. That is a seriously, seriously high number. I hope no one's getting a black flag over race distance, but obviously there is such a thing as a natural limit. Brightus isn't done with Bellman here at all. I think these two are going to be chasing for quite some time on the road. Very easy to take different lines into this first turn. We've had a bit of a mix-up there for P3 on the road. Let's watch that one from up ahead, though, while they battle up above even. I think it was our P3 car here, Brendan Casola, who might have completely overcooked this. Took too much of the bump going inside. Slides out in front. He's going to have to give that place up to the 17. Very easy to just take a little bit too much of those bumps.
storyline I'm paying attention to. Luke Mann is running in the 3rd position. Remember, he came in tied for the championship lead. As he's currently beating Jack Williams, this will give the championship lead to Luke Mann in the 3rd position. Right now, I think he's watching that championship battle. He knows that Jack Williams is a little farther back right now. So what he needs to do is just hold his position, watch these guys in front of him. If they wreck each other, perfect. If not, hang on a 3rd and get yourself a podium and go chase down that championship. Because with Thomas Bellman missing last week, that opened the door up wide open for him to kick the door down and go get this championship. He hasn't been mentioned much in the championship hunt until this point, but he may be the guy to beat now.
Back in his field, still got plenty of racing, is Jack Freeman, trying to muscle his way around Nicolas Konstantinos, and struggling right now to really get purchased. I think this is going to be much of the story of this race. We're going to go around it almost 40 times. It's a very, very short lap. 39 is the estimate, in fact, and we're not sure about the pit stop that could cut another lap out of it, but you're going to get close to other cars, but it's very easy to drop time, just like Jack Freeman dropped, just like Jack Williams dropped. That chicane is very, very fast, very easy to miss your braking zone on, and then you just sort of lose a lot of time, and at the same time, you can't really set up a pass into it.
So right now, we are seeing Thomas Bellman trying to prove that he still has something on the table for this championship. He's gapping the 2nd position by a little bit. Now, every race he has all but dominated. What he needs to keep his eyes open for right now is lapped traffic. Anything that can get him in danger. A crash, a car parked, a dangerous position of just passing one of these lapped cars at some point, and also the pressure behind him. You don't want to get dive bombed. You don't want to get taken out. You don't want something to happen that will completely eliminate your shot at the championship. Well, we're getting a little racy right here as Luke Mann is about to drop 2 positions, I believe. It's getting racy here. We got a show going on. A car is fading, and man, it's crazy how single file, not Luke Mann, excuse me, Matthew just took over the 6th position. He is on the move right now. But what I have noticed, round 1, it was a little bumpy. Round 2, a little bumpy. The clean action we've been getting for the past 2 weeks now has been incredible. What that shows me is these college kids are putting in the laps. They're putting in the time. What they are doing is getting better and improving. And that's the whole point of racing here in CRS.
I mean, if you were involved in that lap 1 incident, maybe you'd disagree, but indeed, it hasn't just been a total wrecking fest across the field. I still wonder if all those front suspensions out of line rock forgive the drivers what they put through them. Lots of chases not quite developing here into positions. Already quite a significant field spread, I noticed as well. But Dallas Bradis is not done. He's not in the slightest bit done with Bellman. Usually Bellman's able to run away, just get some laps that are so good. Bradis is sometimes faster at the moment on the track, and that is leading to just being able to stay there. Peter Saddington, bad news. He's down and around. Please rejoin that safely. Oh no, the cars behind are not going to enjoy that one bit. He's just gotten right in the way of a battle there as well. Let's take a look at how Saddington ended up around though.
Here we go, let's see. He's tucked in behind the car in front of him, following him. Let's see, he's on the brakes heavy, and did he get loose or did he get some help right here? He got loose on exit, hit the throttle a bit too hard, spun the tires, let the back end come around. Obviously, he's dropping so much time right now. He's trying to loop it around. Car shot to his inside through the grass. That could have been really bad. What a save! Incredible save there in front of him. Everyone got out of there unscathed for the most part. Let's go on board here. This is going to be a little scary. He's going to shoot to the bottom and say, oh no! Let's do some off-roading. And he's going to save it. He's going to gain 1 position on Peter, but drop 2 at the same time. And here is a single file train up ahead. Looks like everyone is really just trying to push each other to the next level. Now, back to Bradis. I said earlier, he was pretty much the dominant car last week. He was fast, made a mistake, lost the race, wrecked out. He knows this week he has to get to the end. And I think for Thomas, he's learning real quick that this is not going to be an easy drive to the win this week. He may have got the first two pretty easy, but his competition is catching on to his game. They're catching on to his pace, and they're proving here today, Thomas, you're not getting away here tonight.
It's a chase, but it's a real question as to how you get the pass done around this circuit. Let's try and, on the next lap, we'll go on board for the entire lap, and I'll try and talk you through it as he gives chase. But here's that back chicane. It sort of is a chicane, but it's both a little bit too wide to really pass someone in, but that's too much of an optimal line to really get around someone. Interesting, these last two turns can be a little bit tricky as well, just because it's very easy to wash them wide, get two wheels on the gravel on the outside, cut over in a pit entry.
So when a car goes off and we see gravel on the track, what does that feel like as a driver when the track is dirty and you're just driving through it and you're going the same pace you've been going every lap?
It will make you a little bit looser. Thankfully, in this car, I mean, you already don't have a huge amount of grip. It doesn't completely ruin your day, but if you drive it on the edge of grip, like is usually typical, you might have a rude awakening if you push it too hard into a turn with gravel. I love driving through gravel. I just feel like I've done like the world a favor by getting it off the track. It's always very tempting. A few more incidents happening on the track. We'll be able to look back. Here's Arjun Talwar. I think a lot of drivers are struggling into this turn. Is this some contact on the way out? No, it's just being loose again. And unfortunately, another car's just been collected in the wake, and there's very little you can do about that one. But these are just that corner that you decided to add, by the way, is proving itself just that little bit tricky to navigate. Here's Thomas Ashby into turn 1 and 2. Another one where you're just on the limit.
It's amazing. It seems like turn 4 has bit probably the most victims here today. Now, one interesting fact about this track is the pit road. Unlike the rest of the tracks on the schedule where you pit to the inside, come into pit road, you got to pit to the outside. So it's going to be a little bit different when that time comes. And obviously, this race may be won or lost, and we got a car round!
That's a lap car getting in the way there. It's an awkward place to meet a lap car. I totally give him that, and we don't have formal blue flag rules. But also, the lap car jumps over the curbs. To be fair, trying to get out of the way, jumps over the curbs, and that is going to cause a little bit of contact. He kind of did that one to himself, but most importantly, it has slowed down Bradis a lot this lap. He's kept the car pointed in one direction. He'll keep pushing, but he has lost about 2 tenths just on the attempt to do that one at all.
I think this is where Bradis needs to make sure he doesn't beat himself. He's going to try to run down that gap. He's going to try to gain everything back, and you see him sending it pretty hard right now. He's trying to find that limit and get right back to the rear bumper of Thomas Bellman. This is where he needs to just be smart, carry that draft, see what he can do, see if he can outbrake him a little bit here and there, but this is where this race could be won or lost for the second position. And if you're Thomas Bellman, you're happy with what you're seeing. You're finally getting a breakout up front a little bit, but the pressure is still hot. Look at how deep he sent it into that turn. He is hauling it through here. He's trying to get every square inch of this racetrack. Nobody's saving tires. They know that they're not going to matter too much around here, and they're pushing it 100% currently. Now, every race so far this season, we have seen pretty much a pit stop have to happen to top off on fuel to get to the end off turn number 4. Man, he's tracking in the green. Still gaining, and he is almost back to his rear bumper. So close, but yet so far away. Once again, don't beat yourself is the only advice I can give him.
This new little hairpin is proving itself quite troublesome for a lot of drivers. They're just trying to manage their way through. Here's Logan Wilson chasing down Bodring. Up ahead we have Brendan Pesola chasing Lincoln Voigt. And a free car train. Jack Williams, Noel Dean, and Hector Arredondo. Yeah, I got it right this time, like the first time. Or hopefully right the first time. Still a lot of action further on in the back of the track. Plenty of drivers chasing each other down. Plenty of stuff to see. But it's one of those tracks that it's a little bit like the NASCAR Cup Series track at Darlington. It's an interesting comparison where you have to earn a pass. It does not come to you easily and for free. Here's Noel Dean. She is faster down this straight, but being fast entering turn 1 doesn't necessarily make it easy, because forcing yourself alongside is dangerous.
Well, Dean got a podium finish last week. Really played some strategy there, stayed out, broke away from the traffic. By the time that she did pit, she was able to jump a lot of positions, trying to get another podium here tonight as she's running in the 11th position. They're going to go side by side in front of her. She's going to take the outside in turn number 4. This is a tricky turn number 4. Are they going to make it through this time, side by side? Woo, little bobble there by Noelle, and also a bobble with the cars that she is racing. What a show, and she's going to gain a position off that, officially putting her up yet another one. But this battle is not over. So the names, oh, almost contact. Oh, there is contact. Wrecking behind them. We got a car in the dirt as things are getting shaken up around here. And the 33 is going to come right back up onto the track. That's going to be one dirty track now as he's essentially just doing some donuts. What happened here?
It's a bad day for the lapped Argentawa. He is a lap down. He has to be careful, but really it's the car in front that got slowed down but had a little side-by-side contact that caused the slowing on the road. You have to be careful as a lapped car. You know, you don't want to interfere and wreck out someone's race up ahead. In that case, Argent only really affected his own, and it was a small mistake, and we'll get over it. But you know, sometimes these mistakes can also compound for you. Noel Dean out wide, has to try and block off Jack Williams, who's been doing everything to try and size past. This is the closest battle on the track as Thomas Bellman has run away a second for the lead. I feel like Jack Williams is going to force this issue eventually any time soon. He's looking left and right in every single turn, and Noel's playing good defense.
Jack Williams came in, tied for the championship lead, and ultimately it just hasn't been the race he wanted. He didn't get the qualifying lap he wanted, he hasn't had the pace he wanted, but it's not too late to rebound as he's trying to sneak inside the top 10. Now up to the 11th position, trying to get more. I think he's about to be knocking on the door of a top 10 as he's going to go side by side with Noelle into turn number 1. Let's see how this works out. Will he be able to get the pass done? He will. Put him up to the 11th position. But the championship battle for Jack Williams is definitely not the day he wanted, because Luke Mann is running away with this championship right now as he's holding up in the 3rd position, doing everything he needs to do here tonight. We got 28 minutes remaining on the clock.
Time has flown. 14 laps of this track has been passed already. It's been a pretty speedy one out here on the road. Here's Logan Wilson. Watch out for those curbs. They are very, very bouncy, and this car does like to bounce alongside with it. It's not the only free car in iRacing, of course, but it is the classic one. It's the old school one that everybody has a lot of memories of in their time. Jack Williams going to try and open up another. Just look how dirty the track is now on the exit of that turn, no matter where you go. I think he's going to go for Hector next. I feel like he's been shooting for this. Now Noelle, though, I saw a little bit of impatience. Is that bump drafting? Is Jack Williams there trying to push Hector just down the straight a bit, or is he going to make the move out to the inside here? Difficult to outbrake someone because the inside here is the outside on turn 2. So really, you need the other line. Noel Dean trying to sneak on through. That's the advantage of being inside there. It's a long turn. Side-by-side contact. They're leaning on each other. Don't wreck each other right now, please. Please keep it all in one piece. Jack Williams keeps the advantage for now. Noel's getting loose. Oh, that was a good save there from the wheel. Her car is sliding around the track.
What we're seeing is Jack Williams trying to take an average day and maximize it. He knows he probably has one more pit stop on the table. He wants to get away from these cars he's racing and start trying to put down some lap times. If he can drive his way into the top 10 and maybe play some strategy, who knows? He could be on the verge of looking at a 5th place finish. It's not likely he's going to come out with the championship lead, but he's trying to stop the bleeding, just get a good day, and maximize what he can do with this one, and then focus on Summit Point next week. Now, another name I got in mind, Jonah Bryan, every week, Hard Charger Award. This guy doesn't put down the best qualifying laps, but he survives and makes sure that he's there come the end to potentially put his way into the top 10 or get a top 10 run. He's up 10 positions since the start of this race. He started in 23rd. He's currently running in 13th. So he's definitely trying to maximize his day as well. Flying through the field, charging hard, and definitely trying to bring home a top 10, and I believe he's going to do it. It appears we have another battle on this racetrack. The curve has been popped. Will that be enough to get the position done?
Brendan Pesola is looking very, very tempting around here. You do get a bit of a draft down this start-finish straight, but we'll see what line gets taken. Really, Lincoln Voigt, I do very much love the pretty derby design on the car in front, by the way. Lincoln Voigt sort of gets to decide the terms on which the corner is taken. I'm looking all around the track because it's still, everything's going everywhere. Jack Williams is trying to climb up, this three-car battle is easily the best one on the entire grid. You can just see that's Jonah Bryan behind, but we want to go 3 wide. There is no way you can fit this many cars without one of them backing out. A little bit of contact. Jack Williams is going to be the one that falls back, and Jonah Bryan's in for this battle. No, Dean, more contact. She is just rubbing other cars around these turns right now. Little bump after little bump. The car can't take it. It does race like this, but oh, this is getting terrifying.
Jonah Bryan has joined the fight. Contact! Noel has got the bumper out. 3 wide going to their tricky turn number 4. Are they going to make it? Somebody's going to have to give something here. It's getting wild. Jack Williams on the attack. I know Jack just wants to get out of this. If he can't make it to land on fuel, I say you pit now, get out of this fight, break away from him. I know he feels like he's faster. It's just getting through him has been the issue. Jonah Bryan running 13th. He sees 3 positions in front of him that he feels like he can snag. They're all through the dirt that time by. Doing some off-roading around here. 24 minutes remaining. Noel not backing down. In another side-by-side battle. This is the battle for the 4th position, I believe. Things are getting, or the 8th position. It's getting wild around here, man. It's getting wild. Things are getting shaken up. The 76 on the outside is going to try a hang on. It's going to be a heck of a fight. Or are they going to send it through side-by-side? They thought better of it. And Logan is going to get that position for position number 4.
It's where do we stop looking? Wyatt Robertson, Jet Freeman also battling. Here's a couple more things that have happened on the track while we've been looking away. Nicolas Konstantinos, I don't think, has had a very good time entering this first turn. He's now towed to the pits, pretty much out of this race after picking up a meatball flag, and I wonder how it happens. Oh, he just blew his engine. He just downshifted bad, and that's that. Listen along. Oh, that's heartbreaking.
That's what we call the money shift here on iRacing, the most expensive shift you will ever make. Some of these guys are definitely pushing the limits. Here's Peter South, and he did a round! He has been spun around up the final turn. He was running in the 18th position. Man, some of the aggression around here is getting wild. Peter can't catch a break in this series some days.
Zachary Depper's also had an incident of his own. There's something about these black and red cars, man. Today, it's not been a good run for them on the track. Let me put it like that. I've seen them just a little bit too close to others and causing too many incidents. Not that black and red car up in front, though, from Hector Arredondo, who absolutely, I think it's Arredondo, yeah, who has absolutely been holding off this 4-car charge. This battle's been absolutely incredible. It still is. We're seeing drivers make pit stops now, by the way. Let's just put a Sid timer out on the side there. You can see who's potentially made their stops, like Adelis Bradis, a stop just before Thomas Bellman, trying to change the strategy on the track.
So, last week, this race was won at this very point of the race. So, what would be good right now? If you're one of these guys like Jonah Bryan or Jack Williams, go ahead and pit now. Get out of this fight. Get out of it. Go ahead and pit, and then see if you can gap them once you're away from the pack. That's how the race was won last week. Will it be one like that this week? I mean, Thomas Bellman is running away with it, looking for his 3rd win of the season. If he wins here tonight, no matter what, he won the most races this season. Definitely, you know, coulda, woulda, shoulda been a title run. Although if that will happen or not, only time will tell, but he's going to need a lot of luck, and he's definitely doing what he can do. Jonah Bryan now running in the 8th position, right behind Jack Williams. I know Williams, man, when you're in that position, you're chasing a title, you want to give it 100%, but you also got that, like, little bit in your head where it's like, if I overstep this, I can throw this thing away immediately. I don't need to win here, but I need to get out of here. Jonah Bryan, he must have heard me on the live stream. And just look at how deep you send these cars onto pit road, because you don't actually hit the speed limit for pit road until you get deep onto it. So this is all time to gain if you want to be greedy, but it's also a spot where mistakes can be made. Jonah's one of our first contenders here with 20 minutes remaining. He's going to try the in and out. I wonder if he's going to take tires. I say fuel only is going to be the way to go. It does say he is taking tires. I don't know about that one. What do you think?
I cringe whenever I see the cars jacks go up, I'll be totally honest. I feel like you're just throwing time away. That's where I'm at with that. You're not getting your tires worn over this race, and it takes so long. Now, I'm keeping my eye on Jonah Bryan to show you something about this track, and it's something you don't realize until you drive it. You've been commenting on pit entry. Pit exit here is absolutely brutal, and it leads to many a black flag. I've already seen one come out on pit exit from Jake Rodriguez. Watch this. You go all the way around the outside of turn 1, and it's very, very tight. You actually have to stay within the lines around that turn. Keep it together, stay within the lines, iron on the outside of the turn, and at that point, you can rejoin. It is brutal how that corner just goes away from you. I have to do it like 3 times on my qualifying lap sometimes because I just keep getting it wrong.
And that's something where we could see one of our biggest contenders struggle. Look at this battle. That's a full send into turn number 1. Jack Williams is not being denied here today. He just won't go down. Every challenge, he has gave it everything. Here we go. He's going to try to make the pass on the outside. Very defensive block from Hector and the 77 machine. This is the battle for the 6th position, and things are just not calming down. We see Jack Williams has actually done a bit of damage to his front bumper on that race car. That definitely comes from trying to move a few of your competitors up ahead. Things are looking pretty wild around here. We are once again in the pit window. I'm curious, any of the top runners who are currently looking to be on podium, if they will make a mistake, get a penalty. Oh my goodness, look at this swing to the inside. I don't know if it's gonna stick. He's not gonna get the pass done, but he's not laying down. If you're Hector, you may just throw in the white flag and say, have it, buddy. I want a race car come to the end. Jack Williams, he knows he has to get every point, every position. It matters in this championship title. And he's trying to do ATM proud here today. Deep Sid back in a 1. And I think he's going to snag that 6th position this time through. And he absolutely will with 18 minutes remaining.
Jack Williams, that damage on the front, by the way, that's pretty much just cosmetic. I wouldn't actually expect that to affect his performance at all. You don't really get much aero on this car. It's not really very downforce heavy. That pretty much is just a few bumps that it's meant to take. Alexander Rufus, that's a black flag, by the way, just caught. Noel Dean's on the way out of the pit lane. Jack Williams sure has been a driver with somewhere to be. He's from 14th now up to 6th. He's been making position after position after position. It's been one of the most impressive drives of the race. Here's Dallas Bradis just sort of waiting to get past a load of drivers that haven't stopped yet. So that's our next one stopping. I believe that's Hector making his pit stop. Now going to chase down Jack Williams. Wonder if he'll be able to pass Jack on track. One of the weaknesses of stopping early, of course, is now you just start losing time behind other cars. The air hasn't really been clean on the way out.
I think it's going to be a hard pass to get around Jack Williams here. I mean, he has just brought that car to war here today. I don't expect Jack to really just roll over for him, but I think he also knows that, you know, this car is a lot faster. He's going to let him go on the inside. He actually did let him go right there. And right now, we're going to see Brytus just really try to lay down some lap times. And if he can get clean track, it may be enough to try to run down that gap a little bit. And Bellman is on pit road, giving the lead to Luke Mann. Let's see if Bellman is going to put some tires on it.
Up it goes. Everyone's doing it. Now, I'm going to do the maths here on the pit stops. I don't think Dallas Bradis did. No, he did. All the drivers did. I feel like we're leaving time on the table here, quite frankly. I need to, I think there are some tires you might be able to change depending on how much fuel you're putting in. But I just don't have the maths down perfectly, and typically you wouldn't do it unless you were doing a full tank, and you're not using a full tank in 40 minutes. It's actually not at its full level. So, still curious as to what I'm seeing with some of the drivers making that move. I feel like they're leaving out free time around. Is Matthew Bodring doing much of the same? Further behind, that's David Wilson, who's going to miss his pit box pretty badly by several. Oh, just get it lined up now. That's going to lose you more time than taking any tyres in the world, I think. But that car getting its fuel taken now. Oh, he's not even taking tyres. So he just like lost the time back by missing his pit box.
So one big thing is that these pit stops are not like NASCAR pit stops or Formula 1 pit stops where you are in and out in less than 10 seconds, less than 12 seconds. I mean, it takes upwards of 20, 25 seconds to come in for 4 new tires, which is so much time. It's such a commitment. Well, now we got Luke Mann up front. Jack Freeman here trying to fend off the 9th position. If you're looking at the running order, it is going to be a bit shuffled right now as we are mid-pit cycles. So things will continue to change. Look at this nice little battle right here as Thomas Bellman trying to lay down some hot laps. He has 4 new tires on that car, and he's trying to use them as he's going to make the pass and take over the 3rd position with 14 minutes remaining.
Worth noting, by the way, on the tower you can see the stint length of drivers, and drivers with double-digit numbers there haven't stopped, and drivers with lower numbers have. So you get a sense there of whether drivers have made it. I'll set that to the last pit stop lap, and that actually might help you even a little bit more. You'll be able to see the drivers that haven't made their stop yet, and you'll be able to work out who or what the real running order is going to be. Thomas Bellman so has made his stop, and it will cycle out to P1 more than likely. It takes about 30 to 40 seconds to go through the box, and he's about 50 seconds back on the next car. There'll be no resistance there. This has split up the grid quite a bit, as pit stops typically do around. They keep in mind some drivers like Caden Pado, Cameron McLean, those are very, very early stops they made on the board. I wonder if that will pay out for them.
Caden Pado is a great all-around racer. He was very strong with the NASCAR stuff, very strong with the road stuff. Now, one concern I have, obviously, a lot of these drivers are using every square inch of this racetrack, and you know, there is an incident point limit. I wonder if any drivers are getting close and maybe, you know, could potentially get a black flag here at the end if they go over. Just a couple storylines to keep in mind, because as a driver, you're going to maximize everything. You're going to use every square inch, every incident point. You're going to do everything you can do to run a little bit faster around here.
Most drivers have evened out right now on the road. That's our on board with Caden Pado. Here's Thomas Bellman trying to chase down a P1 on the road when the 2 drivers ahead have stopped. That'll be his for free. You're able to get a nice view of this full lap on board from our fastest driver. He's very aggressive on the shifts. So on that, you might accidentally blow the engine.
And I really like this call from Luke Mann. And is it going to win him the race? Probably not. But what he's trying to do is get some clean track right now. He was running 3rd, trying to get some clean track, and hopefully when he comes in, he's not going to be hurt too bad. This is what we've seen Noel did do last week, as Thomas almost had a big moment right there getting around some lap traffic. That's exactly what he has to keep his eyes open for. But definitely Luke is trying to play the strategy that Noelle played last week that landed her a podium finish.
Closest battles on the road, it's Matthew Bodgering and Noel Dean. Noel Dean is in another battle again straight away. In fact, I think Matthew Bodgering's got pace and is going to try and make this pass stick over the coming laps, but both have made their stop, so they're now racing on track for position. And I think Noel's completely cooked that turn. She has lost a lot of momentum on the outside, and I think Matthew Bodgering's going to take that one for free.
And that just goes to show how competitive this series is. Noelle was, you know, on a podium last week. This week, she's fighting for a top 10. But definitely going to war here for it. Trying to go for the crossover off turn number 4. Not going to quite work. But I doubt that's the end of that battle as we're approaching the final 10 minutes of today's race. I mean, I think the big winner here today, as Thomas Bellman has taken over the second position, I think the big winner is Luke Mann. I think he's going to come out of here, you know, good in points. Come out of here very good in points. He's going to come out of here with the championship lead, with one race remaining. If he can get through next week with, say, a podium, we may be talking about Luke Mann not winning a race this season and snagging the championship. Luke Mann is in the pits. This is going to be the battle right here. I think we're going to see Thomas Bellman cycle around and take the lead. I believe he's going to retake it, and he does. Put Thomas Bellman back to the point. He pitted early, and he's back leading in the final 10 minutes.
Ready to claim that win. Thomas Bellman wants to at least make it 4 for 5. Whether or not he can do a championship, he could do it, I think, if he got lucky and he scored out some points well. I would not completely count it out. Matthew Bodgering on Jack Williams, though.
So I'm looking at the top 10 right now, and, you know, we definitely had a lot of strategy. Brightus was one of the first cars to pit. He pitted from the second position. It didn't quite circle around like what he wanted. He's running third right now. I'm not sure if Wyatt has pitted or not, but it's definitely looking like it wasn't necessarily the advantage that Brightus wanted off of kind of short pitting there and getting some clean track. I mean, it's kind of 50-50 if it's going to help or hurt. He definitely took the tires a little earlier. I'm sure he probably gained a little bit of time. But right now, man, Jack Williams running in the 9th position. This car looked like it was fighting for 13th not too long ago. He's been grabbing these positions and just leaving the pack with them. And it looks like Wyatt is on pit road. Put Brightus up to the second position, and Luke Mann up to third. It's going to cycle out just like how it was before the pit cycle begun. But my goodness, what a battle this is starting into. Jack Williams just trying to grab any point he can grab here. Any point that can give him a shot at the championship next week. He knows that this is going to be a close battle for the title, and every position is going to matter. He is throwing it in every turn right now. I think if I'm Matthew, I'm going to start mirror driving a little bit.
Jack Williams has sort of been like the Jaws, just catching up to every single driver on the road. Wyatt Roberts coming out of pit lane. That's what's going on there. Here comes Jack Williams to the outside. It's hard to make it stick out here, but I feel like he's made everything stick about every single place on the circuit. Hasn't quite this time, but he's fast. He's got a good line. He chooses not to stick it to the inside into this slightly banked hairpin. It's not actually totally flat, but the only thing on this track that isn't totally flat, and that's very, very wide for Bodgering. It's going to have the inside now. I think Jack Williams is going to have to wait another lap, though.
Definitely going to take a bit of time to set off this pass. Now, I don't predict he's going to gain any more positions unless there is some trouble here in the final 7 minutes, but we are seeing a very demanding lead from Thomas Bellman. I mean, he has checked out. When he put them tires on, he fired off and left the field even more than what he was when the race started. He has led pretty much every lap this season that he has been a part of. Thomas Bellman is the real deal here in CRS. Definitely proven to be a top road talent. Jonah Bryan going for a pass on Noel. It looks like that battle is tightening up just a little bit for the 11th position. And we definitely got Jack Williams just putting it all on the line here for the final 6 minutes. The action's still picking up. The battles are still getting tight. And here we go. Noel trying to fend them all off, trying to fend off Jonah Bryan behind her.
Noel has been one of the most exciting racers on the track and has really gotten her elbows out for a lot of contact. That time I think she's taken contact the other way though. Oh, did I just commentate as curse? That is absolutely brutal. I think she just got sent from behind there by Jonah Bryan into that hairpin.
A bit aggressive going into turn number 4. Turn number 4 has bit him all day. He looked for the crossover. She was on the brake very late into turn number 4. I will say that. It's like she sent it in a bit too deep and got on the brakes. But also Jonah Bryan just being a bit over-aggressive right there. And definitely a heartbreaker. She got a top 3 podium finish in the last round. And obviously not going to get the result she wanted now. She has fallen down to the 14th position, so it wasn't a day-ender, but definitely not the top 10 run that she was hoping for.
It has been an exciting race for her. It's a shame that she's going to lose out on those points. She's going to drop, but P14 is likely where it's going to end. I mean, there's a few other lap cars on the road here, which sort of explains that next car isn't quite the next one. David Wilson is around. I do think this one might have been self-inflicted. I don't see a car anywhere near.
Just bombed it in, overshot it, and overdrove it, and spun out. Now, because some of these drivers like David Wilson are having trouble, Peter Saddington has been able to not only find his way back inside the top 20, but climb all the way to the 18th position. With a bit more trouble, he may be looking at a top 15 finish here today.
Mostly evened out battles on the field. I think Bodgering's the closest to Wyatt Roberts, but there wasn't much of a race. So we'll look back again, our leader, Thomas Bellman, who's just taking off lap traffic and wants to prove he can win every single race he can show up to.
This is not the position he wants to be in right now. He has a 13-second lead. He doesn't need to race these guys, and he knows that. He's going to be smart getting around them, but, you know, you never know. If somebody gets bumper hooked, like what we've just seen with Noel, that can happen right here in front of him, and he could be involved. He could be collected in it, and if that happened, it would definitely be goodbye to the championship run. That would be all the faith out the window from there. It does appear some of the lap traffic is pulling over for our leader, Thomas Bellman, as they are being pretty respectful right now. But I'm sure he's just trying to make sure that he survives, keeps the car in one piece, goes and grabs his 3rd win of the season. He's going to go around Jonah Bryan. Jonah did pull over for him as well. And we got a bit of clean track there in front of him for a little bit, maybe for a lap or 2 here. And then he's going to catch a monster pack up ahead of him after that. 3 minutes remaining. Things are shaking out here. I'm sure Thomas is on his toes in case anything wild happens. Bradis is still holding up in the 2nd position. Luke Mann in 3rd. Lincoln, who got a podium last week, is holding up in 4th. Another solid run for him. We definitely are seeing some names rise to the top consistently week in and week out, and you love to see it here in CRS.
Matthew Bodgering's getting closer to Wyatt Roberts every single lap, actually. For someone I said didn't really have a chance of forcing this battle, I think he has a chance of forcing this battle in the last few laps. That's Wyatt Roberts in the 7 car, 28 for Matthew Bodgering, and I keep calling Bodgering, and I explain, actually, it's Bogading, and I'm really sorry, Matthew, because that's a really easy surname. It's Bogading. It's because I had a high school teacher who we would call like Bodger Rottenly. And I just like the Bodger thing just sits in my brain. And it's Bogading or Bogading. And it's really obvious that it's Boga or Bogading. Like the letters are just completely different. That's been my big mistake. Well, Matthew Bogading going to take it down to the inside. overcooks it a bit, but I think he does have the line to take this.
What a pass. Now, for those of you who follow CRS over on Instagram and on social media, you notice there is a lot of college race teams throughout the nation who is joining the CRS Sim Racing Championship by the week, and it's always good to see some new teams and new faces jump in. You just love to see the growth of this division, and the sky's the limit for how high it can potentially go here. We got about a minute and a half remaining. Thomas Bellman should be taking the white flag at any moment now, as he's still trying to pick him up. We got a car to the dirt up ahead of him. Man, this track is getting pretty dirty around here, but for the most part, it's been a pretty clean day. A couple cars had their fender benders in this one, but what a race this one has been. A minute 20 remaining. Traffic absolutely everywhere. It seems like you just can't break away from the field no matter what. It seems like there is this... It seems like there's traffic everywhere you look. 2 laps remaining is what we have.
It's not really about breaking away from the field. It's just more everyone's so split out now, and you're so fast. He's just catching driver after driver after driver. Want to see something interesting? Here's the gaps. Only 10 drivers are on the lead lap, and Jack Williams is about to lose his. He's been doing so much strong racing, and he's going to lose his lap. Thomas Bellman wants to be class of the field today. Nothing substitutes.
And Jack Williams has a couple positions he can potentially gain here come the end, so I wouldn't think he's going to back down at this point of the race. I mean, Thomas Bellman, as he's coming around the final turns right here, he will be taking the white flag. 1 lap ago, we got a car hitting pit road up ahead of him, but now he's right here in this fight. With a 17-second lead, he doesn't need to be. This is the most dangerous position he can be in. White flag, Thomas Bellman, 1 lap to go from the Motorsport Arena.
Been maybe one of the easiest races of his life, I say every single time. I mean, ironically, I missed the one race he isn't here. I come back and he's here again, and he's just inevitable. Just absolutely inevitable. Probably wants to take it easy behind this traffic, doesn't want to force any passes. Safest thing to do, you have a 17-second gap. No, he's just going to go for it. He loves the racing so much, he's going to force it and take another driver, Jack Williams, a lap down. So, you know, why not, just for the love of the game, and the Gobbler Racing number 3 MX-5 just keep on chasing. It's been
He dominated Lime Rock. He dominated Lime Rock. He dominated the Charlotte Roval, and now he's back dominating the Motorsport Arena. Thomas Bellman, off the final turns, is going to snag his 3rd win of the season. His championship title is still alive. How about it, Thomas Bellman, victorious?
What a gap. You don't see gaps like that often on the field. He's going to be having a nice smug one in the interview. Maybe he's earned it.
What a battle here today throughout the field. Luke, man, what a race. P3 comes out with the championship lead. We got Brightus, who finished in the 2nd position. I mean, definitely got a little bit of redemption from last week, and, you know, I'm happy to see him turn that around. We're going to have post-race interviews coming up here shortly. I believe we have Thomas Bellman joining the booth here in 1 moment. Thomas Bellman, welcome to the booth. 3rd win of the season. You have led pretty much every lap you have ran this season. I know the points are going to be a little shaken up here going into the final round, but walk me through the day.
Yeah, you know, came back today with, you know, the goal in mind of showing up again and driving my best out there to try to win again. And, you know, we did exactly that. You know, the goal today was all about consistency and making sure the tires would last as long as possible, because the rears would be really hard to control throughout that race. So it was just about being smooth on the inputs and all of that, and, you know, took some left tires at the pit stop so that I could get a little bit more grip on the right-handers, and at the end, you know, we pulled away from Darius and then just, you know, hang it right there.
Just, I said it before, like, you are so freaking fast in this division. You ended that one with a 17-second lead. Did you get worried at all when you were coming up on some of the lap traffic that maybe they would make a mistake and potentially put you in a bad position here?
You know, honestly, that did come to my mind. Like I had some few moments, especially at Lime Rock, where some of them would get close to me and I guess just wouldn't be too predictable. So I had some close moments. So yeah, tonight was definitely a little bit scary a few times, but you know, a lot of people were respectful, moving out of the way, and you know, everybody did a great job of keeping it clean out there. And you know, honestly, I'll give props to Delius in that race. You know, he was hanging with me that entire race until about, I don't know, I think like 10 or 11 laps in, and we started making a few mistakes, but you know, give props to him. But you know, we just kept it clean tonight, kept it consistent, and you know, worked our way through the field and got the win.
And then next week, obviously, it's out of your hands for the championship. What's the game plan? I mean, just go there, lead every lap, and potentially end the season with 4 out of 5 victories? Or are you really focused on your competitors you're battling for the title?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of both, right? Like, obviously, we're there to win the championship. You know, missing one round because I had to go to another commitment last week was a little bit sad, but you know, we have to make with it. But you know, we'll be looking at where the points are after this session and seeing, you know, how far I have to finish next race to try to see if we can win the championship. But yeah, I mean, the goal is just going to be lead every lap, try to fight to the end, and take the win next week to see if we can, you know, take home the championship.
Congratulations! 3 for 4 this season.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
So our next interview is going to be Brightus, as he's going to jump into the booth. Brightus, you got some redemption, my friend!
Yeah, sort of. I mean, Thomas definitely had the pace advantage. By the 15th lap, I was losing him, and then I tried to using the pit stop as like a reset. Didn't really work. Went too far forward, so that kind of angered me a little bit. You know, added like 2 seconds of extra time, but yeah, I mean, P2 is pretty good still.
So for the first half of the race, the first 15 minutes or so, you hung right on the bumper of Thomas. Obviously, he had insane speed here. How was you keeping up with him like that? You were the only competitor that had a shot at him.
Yeah, I mean, I have a decent amount of experience on this track previously with like the Formula V, the Spec Racer Ford, so I think that carried over to the Miata.
And my final question here, we had this discussion in the booth last week. Who's the man on your paint scheme?
Oh, it's Samuel L. Jackson. Come on, guys, you don't know?
Definitely a unique paint scheme. What does he mean to you?
I don't know, I just like his passion on his face, the fire, you know, the drive.
Congratulations, fire and drive. That's what you showed here tonight. Position number 2, as we were getting another beautiful shot of that paint scheme. How about it? Podium finish.
All right, see you guys.
So obviously the championship battle is absolutely heating up. I mean, I'm just waiting for the points to update, and we do got an update with the points. Luke Mann now leads with 133 points. Jack Williams, 127. Jack Freeman, 121. Thomas Bellman, 120. My goodness, he is... I don't see any way Bellman can get up there. He's going to be coming from 14 points behind. He didn't gain an awful lot here tonight, although it was a dominating day.
Maybe he has to hope for horrible luck from his opponents, quite frankly, on the road. I mean, that's the sort of thing that can happen. But that is some optimism speaking. I didn't really quite realise how tough that's going to be on the road. Looking at the schedule down the line, it is Summit Point Jefferson. I mean, if you want to talk about a weird, crazy track that for some reason you decided was a great idea, I'm all for sticking that many cars on the Jefferson circuit. Why not?
Well, you know where to catch the action at next week. Live back on CRS for the championship finale for Summit Point. I mean, it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be a rough one. I would say Summit Point might go pretty similar to Lime Rock. I think there's going to be a lot of mistakes. I think the racing is going to be a bit wild. Well, what do you expect for Summit Point next week?
Well, I love the standard Summit Point circuit so much with all of my heart. Unfortunately, we're going to the Jefferson circuit, which is actually designed to teach, it's used for things like cop training more than it's used for racing. It's very, very slippery in iRacing. You'd be surprised it feels like it's driving on ice in iRacing. There's something very unusual about the surface of that place. Very few long straights. It's turn after turn after turn, all on unusual radiuses. It doesn't really make much sense. I think it's going to be carnage, quite frankly.
Carnage, it may be. You know where it kicks the action next Sunday at night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on the CRS YouTube channel. Thank you guys for tuning in here tonight for the